You know, I don't know why our friend Further Ado never shows up.
Or surely and Further Ado never get here.
Yeah, surely.
Always without
Anyways,
further ado.
yeah. So without further ado,
God damn it, further ado.
let us begin, guys. Welcome, Dice Riders. May you ride or wait, what is it?
Roll
or die.
Yeah, may you roll or die with us today as we tell our first one-shot story. So we do plan today to expand upon our first campaign, Wish Hunter, with a one-shot inspired by, well, okay, it's going to be our version.
That's inspired by.
Loosely inspired.
Loosely. Well, okay,
It is not very loose. We have seen notes.
It might be, as we're like, no, it's going to be lighter and more carefree and spontaneous. We're like, okay, scene to scene here.
Okay, God, thank God I'm putting the story's title within the title of this episode. Otherwise, it would be so suspenseful as I tell you that we are going to be doing our version of The Monkey's Paw, a classic story, a classic horror story by W.W. Jacobs. The story was written in like early 1900s and is a fantastic and chilling tale about the White family who, through a mysterious interaction, come into possession of a even more mysterious item that grants wishes. Despite warnings and foretellings, the Whites may just utilize that mysterious item, setting off a tragic chain of events that are written so beautifully, vaguely, and ambiguously that a lot of the crucial parts of the tale are kind of left up to interpretation. And I absolutely love that about that. We are doing this because I was really trying to noodle over what our core campaign was going to be for this kickoff of the DiceSized show. And this was one of those, you can't get it out of your head when you read something that's as inspiring as a short story like this. And it was absolutely some of the core material that inspired the campaign of Wish Hunters. So it felt only right that this should be our first monthly content. I guess I should still tell you who I am. This is me, your DM and friend, Robert Whitehead. And with me, as always, is my brother, George.
Hello, it's George. You can call me G, and I'm excited to play a one-shot. I have no idea who I'm playing yet, but it's going to be exciting.
We will get to that shortly. And of course, next to my brother is always his longtime partner, Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya. You can call me Maya. Really excited to find out who I'm playing today. And yeah, there's a bag over my head and I haven't seen the sun in 3 days.
Drag her in here. Yeah.
Coming in real fresh.
Where'd she? Right out of the closet. And of course, my lovely wife, Savannah.
It's me, Sav.
Thank you for being here. Let's find out who you guys are all going to be today. I have in my hands character sheets. These are a little bit more limited of character sheets. You guys will have, a couple proficiencies, do have backgrounds as NPCs. So you will be getting a couple of stat score increases, as well as some tools and adventuring gear. We are going to be using the new 2024 Player's Handbook version of the equipment. So they've got like the utilize action DCs that you guys can check out and see if any of those look, useful to you. There's also one of you has a healer's kit. I don't know if we'll get there.
Mrs. White, she's got it going on.
I mean,
watch out for Mrs. White.
Wow, yeah. But
The
either
untold
way,
story of the monkey's paw.
if you've read this story before, I don't want to give any spoilers away. If you've read this story before, you know that one of these characters is more interesting to play than the others ultimately. And in the short story itself, we don't actually get to see the ultimate fate of that character. We do hear about it. So maybe we'll get to explore that today.
He's talking about the family dog.
Yeah.
The goldfish. The goldfish.
Yeah, it's slightly hinted at in the lighting description of scene 4. But what we're going to be doing here, I have some character sheets in my hands, and we are going to be rolling to see who takes the top one right now. So everyone roll D20 for me.
Ooh.
I am just queen at rolling mid for these initiatives.
I'm mid too. I got a 12.
Got a 13.
I got a 17.
Oh, still mid, baby.
Mr. White.
Oh, man.
Hey.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you. I'm
All
going to have to work into that register.
Love it.
Let's do our next roll.
Oh.
So mid.
What'd you get?
11.
Ha, 19.
Oh.
That's for you,
Oh,
Mrs.
how did
White.
I know? How did I know?
I'll roll one more
The
time. Don't worry.
beautiful married couple, elderly but
Oh.
lovely.
I'm gonna roll.
It's my wife. Hey,
Yeah, let's see what you get. If you roll nat 20, you can make a new character.
That's a 7. I was gonna be a monkey without a paw. Dang it.
Just be
And-
the monkey that shows up.
Where's my paw?
Of course, Herbert. Welcome to the table, Herbert White.
Yay.
The son of the Whites. I will be playing everyone else in this story, but let's redo our intros here as we now have our character sheets in front of us. This is me, your DM and friend, as always, and everyone else in this story, Robert Whitehead. And with me, as always, is my brother, George.
Hello, I'm George. G playing Herbert White. My nickname is Son. I am playing the son. The interesting thing is I am a young man. I'll just stay for the details.
So interesting.
Yeah. Well,
When he
Incredibly
was a
interesting.
young warthog.
Herbert has a history of what he can do to support his doing what he can to support his family, giving him an experience as an artisan. A lighthearted and playful young man, Herbert jokes about the monkey's paw, supposed magic, unaware of how its dark influence will soon touch his life in a most profound way. Herbert's upbringing as an artisan grants him the crafter feat.
Yes, Herbert in our story works at a nearby quarry within our mountain range that we will be finding ourselves. And thank you, Herbert, for telling us a little bit about yourself. Anything else you want to fill us in about Herbert, G?
Yeah, I'm very good at chess.
Oh, okay, cool. I love that.
We'll see.
We will. Welcome, Herbert. Goodbye, G. My brother always just vanishes into ephemeral smoke whenever Herbert White comes
Does
around.
he go join without further ado? Or?
Yes, he does go join without further ado. And,
Find further ado, G.
and
Bring
of
him back
course,
here.
yes, all of our good friends that sit in my peanut gallery of my brain. And next to Herbert White, we have Maya.
Hi, it's Maya. You can call me Mrs. White, also known as Mother. I have a background as a farmer, thanks to my parents. Read that really backwards. Mrs. White is a devoted and strong-willed wife, caring mother. Also, I apparently can't read. I'm just like reading everything opposite. Initially, she dismisses the monkey paw's potential, but later she will cling desperately to its power as a last hope in the face of tragedy, driven by her profound grief. Why? I don't know. You're going to have to keep listening to find out.
Interesting.
One thing about Mrs. White is that she's beefy and she has 8 hit points because she's a tough ass farmer.
Yes, one of the fun things about these characters was D&Difying them a little bit and how that kind of translated the old English NPCs, characters in the original story reference material into NPCs, made them a little bit more livable in this world. And Mrs. White was definitely the one that benefited the most. Like, wow.
Definitely.
Yeah, with the tough feet.
Oh man, I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
It's I got 4 hit
I
points
was
here.
gonna say, like, can I read? Can I tell people that?
I do have to say that I will be playing Mrs. White different than the original Mrs. White in the story. In the original story, she is, as her sex requires, very timid. She is a very devoted wife.
The whole
but
story didn't age well.
yeah, I do love that the farmer feat makes her strong-willed and tough, and I will be leaning into that. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes.
It is 2024.
Right, less 1600s, more Breaking Bad.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. White. I
She
figured
is
we
the
had.
one-
We,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
all have our own
I will
languages.
eventually come around to meth, and I will run the family business car wash.
All right, you give me a hand signal when you're about to break bad. I might need a heads up. I need a heads up. Thank you, Mrs. White. Welcome to the table. And last but certainly not least, actually, where did my wife go? Sav, are you here?
No.
There
Is there a right answer? No. Sav is gone. Mr. White is here.
it is.
Mr. White looks perpetually stressed. So that is a good, there you go. Build an image of a mediocre white man who looks worried.
George.
I mean, it's-
She's pointing to himself.
Mr. White is a retired guard, a curious and impulsive man. He is intrigued by the supernatural powers of the monkey's paw. Despite warnings, his desire to explore the unknown leads him to make a decision that will ultimately haunt the family and drive him to make rash decisions. I will be leaning into that impulsivity. His background as a guard grants him the alert feat, so that'll be interesting. Can't really be surprised.
Nice. You told us what you're leaning into. Anything in terms of how he fits within this world, especially.
When I listened to the story, his impulsivity really came through, and it made me view him as very nonsensical. Like, I didn't have a ton of respect for his character, so I would be playing him as such.
Yeah. I mean, arguably the main character within the short story. I love that he will serve as such within what ultimately with this story, because it is within the Lands Apart and within Wish Hunter. I view this as a contemporary tale where we are within a world that wishing was big and the dangers got really crazy to the point where everyone was dealing with it. And then it got limited, consequences increased. And now people have a romanced view of something that is extremely dangerous to start up again, as any amount of wishing to return to this world will only start something that brought catastrophe. And Mr. White seems like the perfect domino to set off our story, or one that our characters might run into eventually. And further ado, still not here, so I'm going to get into a little bit of a story and set the scene for us. We sweep up and away from the village of two wells within the Lands Apart. With an eagle's eye, one can make out the border of the domain which protects it. Rising further, we see that which surrounds two wells, the witching wood. Today, however, the beginning of our story lays elsewhere. Climbing ever higher, we see that the witching wood sits at the base of a sprawling mountain range. Here, we find the Domino Mountains. As if caught in mid-fall, these slanted mountains is where our story begins. As we now descend to a nondescript point upon these mountainsides, so too does a streak of light fall with us. Turning an early morning sky to day for but a moment, the streak illuminates a small cottage squatting upon the mountainside. As we zero in to that small cottage upon the mountainside, we do see other residences dotting the mountainside, however, not many, and as well as a large quarry. And just nearby, finally, we zero in on our small old cottage where the Whites spend a typical evening. This evening is stormy. So that flash in the sky passes like no other as the lightning strikes and the thunder sounds. Mr. White and his son Herbert are engaged in a tense chess match by the warm fire, while Mrs. White attends to household chores nearby. The familiar comfort of home fills the air, but there is an unusual energy lingering in the atmosphere tonight. Where do you guys find yourselves?
Cleaning. I am Mrs. White and I am cleaning.
I'm trying to prove to my son that I'm smarter than him. You can tell I'm a really great dad.
You can excellent father skills. This chess match does seem very tense. It has been going for hours. You guys play often, and I think that numbers wise, they most often go to Herbert.
Yeah, and I think it's been going on for hours, not because it has to, but because it's been made to. And I'm like, knight to E3.
You're so kind to me. Can I roll for intelligence to see if I can?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do opposed intelligence. We'll do 3 rolls. The first roll will determine the the first set of games.
We get to play chess with dice. All right.
I want to have first roll be the what you guys have played so far today.
Cool.
Second roll will be literally just the most previous game, and then we'll roll for positioning in this last game. So let's do 3 opposed rolls. Let's start with that first one. How have games been going in general lately?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sitting next to
and
the
if you do, you guys do have intelligence modifiers, or some of you maybe
low rolls, but I got a 6.
I rolled a 4, which turns into a 5.
Ooh, it's It seems like you've been gaining on him though, Mr. White. Your son Herbert he picked it up quick and
I taught him everything I know.
and then he learned some more, and somehow you have been just barely keeping up, but it's never been enough. And let's see that second roll here. This is the most recent game.
Off your game tonight, huh, old man?
Oh, brat. It's a nat 1.
It's a 10 or 11.
Herbert.
My impulsivity is getting the best of me.
And Herbert, just you're continuing to find new ways to move these pieces that your father just doesn't seem to see. Although the amount of energy that Mr. White is putting into this game right now is not equivalent to the amount of energy that Herbert's putting in, but Herbert keeps on coming on top and keeps working it out.
I think I'm leaning on my fist, looking at my dad with like an eyebrow and saying, "My next move, I'll be going here."
Oh, God.
And I point to his face on the board.
Insult me, son.
I point to his face on the board, and just as kind of a playful intimidation tactic, I like lift my hand up, ready to like move the piece, like I'm hovering over the piece, and I just like start smirking a little bit.
Lovely. As you look at that piece, roll one last intelligence check here. As you look upon the move that does appear to be check.
Even 15s.
Even 15s.
15.
Okay. You are once more at a draw here, I think.
Touche, father. Touche.
I told you I taught you everything I know.
I think that draws out the game though, because with a tie, I think we're going to do one more roll off here.
It's an opposing check.
Mhm.
Then put me in check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my 15 would have been a 16.
Oh, interesting.
So definitely like an opposing check. Like
But the vibes were
I
Yeah,
were
yeah,
better
yeah.
with
Okay,
two
so
15s.
awesome.
Oh no, I had a 16 too.
Oh.
Yeah, +1 for intelligence.
Oh,
Are we
perfect.
doing
Oh
intelligence?
yeah.
Yeah, 16,
awesome,
16 then.
Awesome. Cool. Let's do one last roll here.
2.
8.
The
Oh,
dice
It's a very
don't
slow
lie.
very slow chess game.
How does Mr. White feel and act during this moment where it looked like his son had him, but then he figured him out, and you suddenly had not advantage, but you were back in the game?
Wait, but then I lost.
Yes, you did, but we're not there yet.
I think true to Mr. White's nature, as we learn throughout the story, like when he's got to be on, he's on in a little bit of a chaotic way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like he rides the wave of the game, not really caring if he wins or loses until the pressure's on that he's about to lose. And then his heart will be in it for a minute before he goes back to daydreaming and thinking about whatever it is he thinks about.
As his heart is in it for just a minute, you feel this burning passion in your chest, and you make the move, and suddenly you're back in the game. And then Herbert, you see that your father doesn't even see the folly of what he's done and is celebrating a loss. As you move your final piece, what do you say?
I mean, I could turn the board around if you
Oh
want.
my
You could take
God.
my side. It'd be fine if you wanted to play my side.
Just do it.
Okay. Well,
As
then,
you guys are arguing for a moment, roll a perception check here.
I'm happy with my win. That's a 2.
That's a 14.
Herbert, actually, your perception is keen enough to hear the crash of thunder outside. And for you, Mr. White, it is absolutely enough to see the moment of opportunity here to distract your son.
To cheat?
To cheat.
Are you actually going to spin the board?
As just instinctively with a 2, we are going to mechanically speak about that as Herbert is distracted for a moment, instinctually looking towards the strike of lightning. And you, with your 14, notice that, as well as your wife in the corner doing household chores as her sex allows.
As her sex
As
requires.
requires.
Yeah. Okay. Some parts of the story aren't incredibly. They didn't age
a
the
long time
best.
ago.
1900.
But
But
we will be making fun of it.
as our sex requires.
While Herbert is distracted by the thunder, I'm going to kind of blunder through standing up in my seat to say, oh, I'm going to go help your mother really quick. And I'm going to bump the board and absolutely ruin the whole game.
Honey, no, there's no problem. I need no help. I'm perfectly capable on my own. Thank you.
Oh,
You would only get in the way, sir, loving husband.
What happened
as
to
my
the
sex requires.
What happened to the board?
Mrs.
Oh,
White, Mrs. White,
son.
I'm gonna have you roll perception as well here.
10. Plus. Do I plus anything? Nope. 10.
10. Still enough, I think, to have been keeping up with the game, and I've probably always been keeping up with these games and knowing that your husband, although he tries his best, is often the sore loser. And as you perceive his growing stress in this game and hear him rise and headed towards you, I think you do see that it seems pretty calculated as he stands up to bash the chessboard aside.
I think Mrs. White kind of looks at him and just kind of gives a like knowing nod and smile and looks down, pours him a little glass of whiskey and slides it over on the table. As he like walks over, I just slide it over and I say, You'll get him next time, honey.
Oh, yes. You know me so well.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
I got a 2, so I'm like waiting to notice this board. I know like I'm planning on noticing it. But
Give me a sleight of hand, Mr. White, to see how like, did you
pieces
send the
fall.
board flying or did you give yourself advantage
No,
here?
I think it was like a knee bump that caused a small domino effect of pieces to tip over and roll. So it's not like all over the floor, but the game's messed up.
Mhm.
It's not. I don't know that it's
where the pieces
salvageable.
started.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, I guess
Guess
I'll
I'll have to start over. Oh, honey. So predictable.
Wasn't at one though.
Oh my goodness.
So the pieces are.
Dice jail.
As you send the
One of them
pieces,
explodes.
as you send the board flying,
It was marble.
Herbert, your chest is peppered with pieces as that does pull you back from the distraction of lightning. And for a second, there's kind of like an overwhelming sensation of sound as the crack of thunder combines with the crash of the pieces in the board, combines with a pounding that isn't quite heard except for in like the depth of the reverberation. And your brain just kind of says, wow, it feels like a multi-layered booming for a second as the thunder resolves, the crash of the board ceases.
I look in my whiskey glass like, whoa.
The pounding of the door continues as it has risen to a thunderous volume as someone is trying to escape the stormy dangers outside. And you finally hear, after this overlong time, a traveler must be outside.
I think Mrs. White rushes over to Mr. White and says, honey, like, has your tremor gotten worse? And Herbert, get the door.
Wait, who's gonna win? Oh, I was
Herbert, get the door.
gonna win.
It is storming outside. Please go answer the door.
That's terrifying. Don't open the door.
You know your father struggles with his balance sometimes.
Yeah, the thunder's knocking. You don't open the door to thunder.
Son, listen to your mother.
Oh, fine, Dad. That hurt.
What have you done to us, Rob?
It is really weird to have my
The
brother
way you're sitting there
talking to
with
my
your
wife
hands in
talking
your
to me.
lap, just like
It's
smiling at us.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
You're sick. You're sick.
Herbert starts just so he doesn't have to be the one to open the door. He starts collecting all the chess pieces. Like, I was gonna win. I totally was gonna win.
I have to do everything myself in this house. Mrs. White walks over to the door and opens it. Hello, it's storming. How can I help you?
As you move to answer the door and open it, it whips out of your hand as the storm winds. Actually, give me a.
I'm tough. I was gonna say.
Give me a strength check here as the storm winds want to whip that door open.
Whips the wind back.
Oh, I'm very distracted. Apparently, that's a 4.
Ooh, it is luckily enough that you have help here as the traveler on the other side, a stranger who now comes into appearance, is holding the door as well. You can roll one more time with advantage here as he is giving you the help action functionally.
It's a nat 1.
As
Whose fingers are getting?
this stranger is almost pulled in by the weight of the door before he has the mind to let go. And as he is pulled into the light and you are kind of thrown by the door, I'm going to roll a D4 here because this is my story and these characters might die before
My
they...
dress gets blown up over my face and I can't see. And I'm like, ooh.
I just finished setting up the chess pieces and they get knocked over.
That'll just be one
Oh,
damage. One damage to you as that door smashes into you.
Well, that's fine. I can take
with
it.
the strength of the storms.
Oh my God.
Mother,
Well-
no.
I'm all right, darling.
In the Domino Mountains, who knows what people have wished? The storms rage here, and who knows what caused the first of those giant dominoes to fall. That's world lore. We can get back to it now. As Sir Morris, as he introduces himself, is pulled into the light and says, excuse me all. I'm a traveler. I'm Sir Morris." And as you all look upon him, he is a man dressed not for battle, but combat is definitely a word, as he seems rugged in appearance and well-traveled. He is not one that seems like they would be of the area, as not only does his garb generally indicate that he's prepared for travel and strangers and combat, he's also much more, what's the word? He's much more weary than anyone you've seen. Although
Wayfaring.
yes, although it's a hard life, he comes in with such absolute, utter somber attitude and introduces himself, dropping to one knee as he goes to help you up first, having not knocked you over, but failed to prevent you from being knocked over by the door, Mrs. White.
Thank you. You look cold. It is storming so much outside. Let me get you a mug of tea. And she kind of like brushes off her skirts and goes into the kitchen.
As you go to collect some tea, he says, "Oh, thank you. That is too kind." And he moves to close the door. And with a natural 20, he is able to close the door solidly. And you see him kind of bolster himself for a moment as this weary soldier of all appearances looks, and Knight by name, it sounds like, brings himself to bear against the door, and it's a moment of struggle, but is so solidly able to close it, and the storms once more are dimmed as he turns.
I think Herbert right now is like surreptitiously reaching for his like club or his mason hammer, still unsure about this man that just came in and tumbled over his mother. And as he slams the door shut with such strength, even though he looks weary, I think that like Herbert's like, "Mother, are you really just going to get him some tea? We don't know this man."
Herbert, please, we have a guest. Please grab a chair for our guest. It is cold outside and he needs a place to stay.
Do I have to?
What would I do? Turn him away?
Listen to your mother.
Herbert, okay. He grabs a chair.
Meanwhile, Mr. White is doing nothing. He's like looking back and forth like, what's going to happen?
He's playing with the king chess pieces like, haha, I won.
Mr. White, please roll a history check here. You can, if you don't have history as a skill, you can just add your intelligence modifier.
That's a 14.
Nice. You remember this traveler. He has come through before, as your house also serves as a small, well, it doesn't serve as a way station, but it's one of the cottages that is nearest to the road that it often has served as a way station. He has come through before. He is, although previously when he came through, he seemed lively, gleaming, and young. Mr. White, you've had a long life, and the last time you saw this man was more than 20 years ago. That's why it took you a moment. He is no longer a young man. He is seems worn and weary as Sir Morris, a knight now. Before, he was just Morris, a young, not well-to-do, wanting to do well adventurer who was setting out to hopefully become, what did he call it? A wish hunter. Did he ever?
Morris, did you say? I thought I recognized you.
Mr. White, by chance. No, it could never be.
A boy no longer.
A man as I stand, yes. He hesitates for a moment and says, "You haven't aged a day."
I certainly have.
Yes, you certainly have.
These knees disagree. Ask my wife.
Oh, well,
The tremors are getting worse.
still during the storms. Oh, well,
I'm Herbert.
Yeah,
Herbert, get him a chair. Get our guest a chair.
Come in, meet my son, Herbert.
Herbert like gives a side eye and just kind of slowly walks and grabs a chair. He's just trying to act tough in front of this person that his parents are like it's just like that aggressive. How come they're not this nice to me all the time?
He's our gentle giant, as you'll see.
I scoot the chair up like next to him, and you just hear the.
Give me an intimidation check if you want. Roll just charisma if you don't have intimidation on your sheet there.
It's a 5. My charisma is +0, so it's a 5.
Okay.
It's like immediately comes off silly because of how hard like that young person energy of trying to like be
How old are you?
19.
Nice.
Sir Morris, although a veteran, doesn't have much in terms of, charismatic sergeant poise. So it's more of just like a lack of, it's indifference to this like attitude, as he is like just very politely grateful to you and is just entirely, he just doesn't give the intimidation, the recognition or attention or time.
That makes me so mad.
It's even more frustrating.
You're welcome.
Oh, well, thank you. And you said your name was Herbert.
Herbert.
You are a strapping lad. Do you by chance work in the quarry?
Yeah, I work really well at the quarry.
Oh, it seems your voice might have changed from a small.
Oh, I work really well at the quarry. I do my best. I was my voice is changing still. I'm 19, but my voice is still changing.
So for a second, it sounded like you were trying to deepen your voice to intimidate.
Yeah, I work at the quarry really well.
Well, anyways, these are beautiful chess pieces. As he looks upon the pieces that you picked up are kind of in like a pile now, sequestered next to the board, and they are of course all pieces that Herbert himself quarried, brought home, and each one is a different type of stone, and each one actually, would you like to go into any further description, as this is a homemade set?
Yeah, I think Herbert accidentally gets excited and completely forgets his emotion in the moment and goes, oh yeah, this one is actually something that I made out of marble. It's got these strays. It's cool. You can have it. He walks over by the fire.
I think Mrs. White walks over and puts the tea in front of Sir Morris and says, "Oh yes, our Herbert. He's so creative and always whittling away at something. What
chiseling, not whittling, Mom.
Honey, yes, I will remember. What brings you our way, Sir Morris? What on a night like this, nevertheless?
Oh well, I guess I do have many stories to catch you up on, Mr. White.
Please tell us one.
Mrs. White, it's good to...
Yes, this is my wife, Mrs. White. She doesn't have a first name. It's just Mrs. White.
As her sex requires.
You can call me Mother.
As her sex requires, her nickname is Mommy.
Well, Mommy.
Yes, sir. Morris. Yes, Sergeant Daddy.
You will call me sir. You will call me sir, and I will call you Mommy.
As my sex requires.
We should be studied.
I have many adventures to tell you both, and I think when last I saw you, you were just betrothed. I'm so glad to see that you've had such a happy life, and
Happy.
20 years. And I met your father. How old are you, son?
19 3/4.
I met your father 19 8/4 ago.
You know what we did that night?
He was but a wish in my womb.
Well, I wasn't going to get that specific.
No, what happened exactly that night?
He was but a wish in my womb.
Because we wished very, very hard for you.
Was it repetitious wishing or just one big wish?
I wish.
I wish.
7.
Wishes. God damn it. Sir Morris hesitates for a moment.
Disappeared.
Okay, so I would like to use that. Take the last 30 seconds and use that as an analog to describe the joy and the boisterousness of the conversation that flows for the next several hours of the afternoon. It continues to storm as the rains outside pelt the roof and the windows. You are all laughing, joyously telling stories, both Mr. and Mrs. White on their side, but mostly from Sir Morris's side, who continues to tell tales that grow taller and taller with each telling. However, many match and corroborate the small little tidbits of travelers from before. I would ask each of you, what is one scrap of a rumor that you got from a previous traveler?
In relation to wish magic?
Yeah, give me some wish lore that in a world where these characters are relatively ignorant to the true mechanics of wishing and the dangers of it, but are very aware of all the stories that, so-and-so's cousin's brother's girlfriend, or how this town disappeared overnight. What is a wish lore scrap of rumor that your character holds to their heart?
I think really where my brain goes is hearing maybe about a weird culture that has made a religion out of the star that stood still. It's this, we heard stories of people who were like praying to the sky, which is just a weird thing for Herbert. Like he's just didn't grow up religious, and he's
emphasis on cult.
Sir Morris goes on to tell you about, some call them star callers, some call them star bathers. At worst, they're called gazers, as I think gazer is kind of even a word that you, as the family of the Whites, know is just not a thing to do. It's more superstition to you guys, but such utter and devout superstition that it has prevented all of you from ever looking up at a night sky. However, we are within a mountain range that often becomes stormy and ravaged, but he does tell you tales of a clan known as Star Callers, but some have so I would butcher the tongue, but it is a beautiful word upon the elven words. I believe it translates to holy light. And I do believe that they and their people worship the very thing that brought such danger and terrors to our world.
I think after he tells the story of the people and maybe there's a mention of like how his witch hunting brought him there, and you hear Herbert kind of almost like out of like, oh, I wish I could be a wish. Not I wish, but like maybe like I could be a wish hunter.
Oh, that's fun to think about, how when one would want to say I wish, they would instead say I could, or I pause, just say the thing.
I think basically I guess this would sound like Herbert almost swearing under his breath. So I think it'd be like I think I could be a wish hunter. And he says it under his breath, like not expecting people to hear it.
Sir Morris says, well, let me tell a few more stories and we'll see if you still think you could be a wish hunter, or if you want to be. Because I think that's what you really mean, and the dangers are very real, as he goes on to describe the next piece of wish lore. Anyone else got one?
I've got one. Based on Mr. White's being in possession of a coins and cups gaming set, I think Mr. White will say something like, I was told a tale once of people who made decisions based on a deck of cards. A deck of cards! Can you imagine? Is this true?
Yes. There are some who are very talented in foretelling, and some who would only try to trick you for your gold or silver or copper or whatever you have on you. They do not care. They will tell you what you need to hear. But for those that pay attention and harness the old magics, some call it casting of lots. Some call the talents tarot. Others further look upon signs in everything from the stars or natures or the leavings of a cup of tea, as he looks down to the bottom of his cup of tea, swirling the last of it.
No tricks here, sir. No tricks here. Just a simple tea for a simple... No, not a simple... just a simple tea from a simple woman.
for a simple daddy.
Sir Sergeant Daddy.
Thank you, Mommy.
You're so welcome.
What does that make me?
I think Mrs. White looks at Mr. White and just kind of like, he wouldn't understand.
It's true.
Herbert is fumbling with his mason tools as if like, even though he's been like a real support and resource for the family, he's like having one of those insecure moments, like I could do something more with my life moments. And he's like suddenly very honed in on what Daddy is saying. Or Sir Daddy. Sergeant Morris.
Sir Morris.
Miss White is flustered.
Mr. White is also enamored at what you've shared about
I'm locked in now.
people making, about all that tarot, especially. Oh my gosh.
That was cool.
I think you can see him kind of turn the conversation to a much more cautionary tone as he sees Herbert's kind of growing excitement and
like
dreaminess.
real excitement.
But Mr. White having brought up this idea of like, he wants to talk about the positive side of it, but then he says, but some don't know the magics with which what is the word?
Metal?
Meddle. Thank you. For the magics in which they meddle. Some might draw their fate and learn the thing that they would wish to learn. Excuse me for my language there. The thing that they might yearn to earn and get it. And most people do not realize that this is not something that you would want. As he looks towards Mr. White, Mr. White, I will allow you an insight check here. As he has confirmed the idea of casting of lots and tarot cards and all of the mystical signs, and that some work and some don't, and some are too dangerous to meddle with.
Remind me what insight is tied to?
Wisdom.
18.
Nice. You can see in his tone that although this person didn't, to your knowledge, truly wish to be a wish hunter, he went through it through like the progress of life. You can just see the, not regret, but the doubt of, is this the life that I wanted after so much turmoil? And he's kind of reminded himself of the negatives in his head as he turns to a cautionary tale to seemingly put Herbert's excitement down a little bit. And although you can see that on the surface level, you see beneath that this man is truly weary. Did Mr. White think Sir Morris was really cool as a traveler?
Like idolize?
Yeah. Did he idolize him as he came in? And I think if so, he feels the disillusionment of that idolization as he realized that Sir Morris has had a hard life.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And he knows that.
Like 20 years ago.
Mhm.
I
Right.
think, Mr. White was probably envious as people are when someone is just about to go live a totally different life than you are, no matter how content you are or happy you are with the life you're building. Like someone doing something different is mystical and romantic. And as someone perpetually stressed, Mr. White is seeing the fatigue of the life that Sir Morris Daddy has been living and can relate to the eye bags and the shallow breathing and just the demeanor of someone who's also been through it.
Yeah.
I think there's like a juxtaposition because that like goes over Herbert's head and like you could want anything and just have it. He says that he like gets real close. He like gets real close and like almost sits down next to Sir Morris and ignores the ominous tones and says, "But you could have whatever you wanted."
Not quite, Herbert. I mean, a story I've heard from your grandmother's cousin. What we say cousin, they're more friends of the family. But they had a farm horse, one that pulled their plows, and their horse went lame, and so they went to the nearby count, and they asked for help on the farm or to help fix their horse's lame foot. And the next day, another horse appeared. So I don't quite know if wishes are as straightforward as we think they are. Have you heard of something like this happening? I mean, it seems kind of like a coincidence.
Why didn't they just ask for them to have a lot of horses or for them not to have to do it at all?
Well,
Stupid boy.
Just kidding.
Sir Morris chimes in. He says, "No, not."
Still bitter about the
I'm
chest.
just pointing at my
not-
character sheet.
It
Like,
just goes over.
look at him.
He hears that so often
Yeah.
it goes over. Herbert's head.
Sir Morris says, "No, not stupid." And that's an excellent question. Excellent thought. There are.
Thank you. As
there-
my sex requires.
You're right. Wishes are never as straightforward as you might think. It is often as if the coincidence of life might fulfill them more than the wish itself. Yes, some, the stories say, have been granted in such observable and visible ways that how can you deny them? But many things in life come with such sights that one wants to deny what the eye can see. However, the dangers of wishing are often invisible, and
But how does it work?
a wish hunter's mission, my dear Herbert, is to protect all from the cost and consequence caused by the wish conflicts and collisions and curses that plague our world. These are the 5 C's of the dangers of wishing. Let me tell you about them if you are to truly be one day. As he goes to talk about how wishes these days are much more complex than even wizards used to know how to cast in the times before wish magic, when wish was but a spell only, rather than a rampant force within nature that could be wielded by anyone. He talks of the symbols that can be used, but truly how no matter the way you use a wish, there's always a cost. There's always a consequence. And sometimes there are conflicts where wishes are made in direct opposing opposition. Other times there are collisions where wishes have such similar but differing effects that they cause an unforeseen outcome. And other times there's a curse, a lashback that comes from the use of the wish itself. We know not why wishing has altered in these ways, but we know with certainty that it has increased the danger of wishing. So, my dear Herbert, if you are to hunt the sources of wishing, you are to be a wish hunter, I would ask you to know these dangers well. And he continues to tell you all and bring you in about all these stories of wish hunting. And I think there's a good time to kind of flash to the forward point of that. Any last little tidbits that you guys get in with like this forefront of the conversation?
You go first. I have one too. Yeah.
I was going to say that I think throughout the whole night, Mrs. White is sprinkling in, yes, Herbert, but you know, you love working with your hands so much. And you know, you come from a family of farmers and we love the simple life and we only need to look down to take care of the land that feeds us. And like really trying to sprinkle in like, don't be a wish hunter, stay home and be.
I'm 100% gripping my
Please,
mace.
like the worried mother, just like, don't leave the nest. Please just stay.
I'm fiddling with the fire and playing with my masonry hammer in my hand and just gripping the handle and thinking about all the times that I've struck stone and how much I plan to keep striking stone. And then imagine a world of, for one, being able to ask for whatever you want. So as much as I'm hearing the consequences and being a wish hunter, I'm kind of hearing, if I keep telling him that I want to be a wish hunter, and I kind of do, I might be able to wish for whatever I want. And so
it starts to
a little manipulative, like
the
it's
motivation, but that's actually not where the thought strand ends. It like ends
I'm like looking at my dad, being like, I don't really want to be like my dad. I don't, and my mom's like loves me, but I don't really want to do what she's saying. So I think I'm quietly making plans to see if I can follow and be a wish hunter, but for the intent of kind of learning how to wish right.
Yeah, and I think Mrs. White is just trying to kind of like discount wishes and just like, we don't know, you know, what we know is how a seed grows.
I know, Mom. I'm just, I know that the quarry is good for me. I'm just thinking, that's all.
Yes, I would prefer that you stick to the things that are predictable in life and things that we know. It's not a bad thing to know.
I know what we know is nice and what we don't know isn't.
Terrifying. It's very, very scary.
As Mrs. White and Herbert are off to the side and interacting in this more solo capacity, I think Mr. White and Sir Morris do get a little bit more cozy conversation. Mr. White, is there anything that you catch Sir Morris for in conversation?
I think Mr. White would ask the typical, tell me about the craziest thing you've ever seen. Because again, his impulsivity, his curiosity, I think he's just like, give me the wacky stuff, or like, give me the most extreme version of this existence you've lived.
Give me a perception roll with advantage here.
I'm imagining like a gruff old guy being like, Eddie, you can tell me, right?
I think Mrs. White like scoffs and like walks out of the room to get more tea. Just like, ugh.
Herbert follows his mom being like trying to listen and eavesdrop, but like,
come help me with the tea.
Oh, fine. I just want to hear though.
No, come.
The 13.
There is a story that he has kept referring to, one that in the way that he implies has happened very recently. And with a 13, you are able to spot the small furred finger that is poking out of his hand. You can see it's kind of curled, and underneath his jacket, you can see 3 more fingers of...
Have you grown an extra appendage since the last time we've encountered?
How did that escape its wrapping? As he takes it out, and you see
what?
Around the wrist of what appears to be a mummified monkey's paw, there's a little bit of bandaging marked with arcane runes that he takes and continues to wrap it up around. But it is a monkey's paw with 1 finger down and 3 fingers raised.
Disturbing. Tell me about this.
Well, many of the ways of wishing are. I know not the name of the creature that this comes from. All that I know is that it is a mysterious paw of some kind. They call the creature a monkey. I've never seen one, but many cultures hold them quite dear, and this item came from one that treated them as sacred beasts, never to be touched with anything other than reverence. This cursed item will grant a wish, but from what I have seen, at
It will grant a wish?
yes, but at great cost.
This paw will grant a wish?
It would grant 3, but I will tell you that the man that held
Well, what are we waiting for?
Herbert,
Let's get to
please.
wishing.
No.
It's an animal we don't even know is real.
There's a wish.
We want
You can
for
get
much.
a wish. You see Herbert's head pop up from the kitchen and just immediately, like, just bright-eyed and drops his mason hammer and walks into the room.
Come, gather round. Check out this mitten that Sir Morris has brought us.
Can I touch it? It looks so gross.
He continues to wrap it up and pull it away from you as you guys all gather around the fire. And he says, I will tell you the story, but I would first tell you that once more, wishes are not meant to be trifled with. The man that I was given this by, he made his 3 wishes. And I'll tell you now that I know not the first 2, but I know that his 3rd was for death.
Why would anyone wish to die?
What a silly story.
It's a tall tale.
These are questions, young Herbert, that I think are enough to ponder for life rather than face the consequence.
fun to talk about, but we don't need to be living it out, you know? And who's to say something as respectfully grotesque as this hand
It looks like it's oozing.
could provide such magic. I don't believe it.
I will offer you now all a perception check, and if you want to try to get him to give you the paw, a persuasion check.
It's a 19.
Which is tied to
Perception is wisdom, and persuasion is
18. Perception.
18 and 19 are enough to feel that feeling that I mentioned earlier, that feeling of something upon the energy. I think both of you as characters within this world really just feel it as the atmosphere of the storm continuing to build. But in this moment, I think you can connect that to your perception and direct vision of the monkey's paw. You can feel this emanation that's growing because you are all looking at it. I don't think your characters know the exact cause and effect here, but as players, I'll tell you that because you are all looking at it, you can feel this energy growing. Your characters really do feel that energy right now, and you can palpably feel the magic that this thing lets off.
I think Herbert reaches, not to touch it again, as he had already pulled it away, but kind of as if somebody's putting their hands up to a fire and their palms forward just to feel if because I think there's an unfamiliar sensation of an aura that you'd only really feel around a fire, so I think there's this weird reverence as I'm approaching it.
Does Mr. White respond at all to this energy as both of you feel it?
I think I do a jump scare on Herbert's shoulders.
Give me intimidation, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I think Mrs. White does more tea, back to the kitchen.
It's a 16.
Do
Awesome.
opposing or
Yeah, we'll do opposing.
that's a 6.
Nice. You are able to successfully scare your son in this moment, and I think Mr. White is unaware of why he feels propelled to scare his son in this moment. But I'll tell this whole table that there is a malignant force that has entered this room. Nobody as characters none of you have, I can't justify any of you actually noticing this thing. To Herbert and to Mr. White, it's just the energy is thickening in the room. To Mrs. White, it's a night like no other. But to us as
A
players,
strange chill has entered the room. More tea.
and to Sir Morris, who is exhausted from his travels and is yet to move. So with 3 levels of exhaustion, he has a -6 here to this saving throw as he will try to prevent this malignant force from affecting his decision making. Something is trying to get him to let go of the monkey's paw. None of your characters know this, But
Ring of Sauron stuff here.
exactly. And it's wishes want to be cast in this world. There's nothing driving this. It is truly a part of the ecosystem of the storm, in the same way that lightning strikes when the atmosphere changes drastically, or needs to change drastically, more appropriately. Wish wants to be cast here. And Mr. Sir Morris has the means to do so. So I will roll
Sir Morris daddy.
wisdom saving throw -6. This is a DC 16 to save here. That is a 19 on the die.
Ooh.
Nothing but a nat 20 would have saved.
What was it, -3?
-6.
Oh.
Because he has 3 levels of
boy.
exhaustion ×2 for the negative modifier.
He was
to the roll.
so close. Can I provide help?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
He pauses from unwrapping or from rewrapping the monkey's paw and continues to tell stories of grandeur, but somehow forgetting that he holds this terrible temptation within his hands, forgetting his duties as a wish hunter to protect the innocent from the things that they know not the dangers of. And finally, in the midst of one of his tales, do any of you push him further? I did offer a persuasion check to try to get the paw from directly.
With that narrative, I think Herbert might go like, but if I wanted like more money, like how would I, is there like a phrasing? Like, do you have to be special about how you ask for things? Is
like a drunkard,
right,
with words escaping his lips before he realizes, well, yeah, there are a few effects of the wish spell that you can cast without the undue stress, and they don't necessarily affect the world, but the accumulation of wishes in the world is already such a problem. It's real. And he goes on to talk about like the worldly global catastrophe side, and like, the
lost
climate
Herbert
change.
at like, you can ask the right way.
Exactly right. Completely lost Herbert at just giving him, there's a specific bulleted list of things that you could wish for and just have it.
Not that we're going to get there, but I think Herbert's already planning, like if this soldier falls asleep, if Sir Morris falls asleep or something, that Herbert might even go to the lengths of taking this out of his pocket. So there's like these mental plans formulating, I think, of grandiosity in.
Damn. Okay. Everyone give me a persuasion roll if you want to, as we reach a climax in some of Sir Morris's tales.
It's an 8.
And
2. I'm in the kitchen. I don't know. My tea's not very good, apparently.
With a 10 from Mr. White, your attention seems most profound upon Sir Morris, and with another -6 here, he will try to resist. The wisdom save left the monkey paws accessible to you all, and now we'll see if he feels the energy. With a 9 on the die, it's not going to do it, as he looks upon Mr. White, goes to tell one more tale, and something in him just causes him to drop the monkey's paw upon the fire as he shakes himself out of what seems to be a reverie that he'd found himself in, and continues the tale, but almost unwittingly has dropped the monkey's paw. Mr. White, what do you do in this moment as you see Sir Morris unknowingly cast the monkey paw into the fire?
Mr. White kind of stands up, pretending to keep listening, just says, no, and just kind of uses his foot to kind of kick it out of the fire and stomp it out, while like maintaining eye contact and like letting him finish his story if he continues, and just kind of like brushes it off. And then I think at the earliest convenience, Mr. White would say, look at us. We deserve some fun. Let's not waste this opportunity.
I think Herbert is like looking between his mom and his dad, and he's like with fists clenched, hands at his side, like, can I touch it? Energy of like, can I get this thing? But he looks at at that mention from his dad. He kind of gets really excited.
Sir Morris looks upon himself, and I'm going to roll one more thing here. Gosh, those exhaustion rolls are just tough. With the 17 on the die, he's still not able to recover himself enough. And he says, well, I guess no matter. You've heard the dangers, and I would urge you not to use it, but your folly will have to be your own, Mr. White. if you won't listen to my stories, if none of you will listen to my warnings, I don't think I can stay here tonight.
Are you sure? The storm rages on. We can make you a bed on the floor. It'll be quite comfortable.
What harm could come from wishing for a bit of gold?
Hurriedly putting his cloak on, he says, I tell you again, these wishes have a way of coming true with coincidence and consequence that you cannot predict. I would urge you not to use it.
You just have to ask right. You know, I whispered to my dad, and I'm like, yeah, he doesn't realize what he's saying.
Right.
He doesn't know, but this is so easy.
It's all in good fun.
That's all good. Yeah, we're gonna have a great time.
It's going to be great.
With one last confused look upon his face, as if unsure of why he is stepping out of this home, he says, I fear that the storm to come here is worse than the storm outside, and I must be away. And opens the door and closes, and none of you are ever to see Sir Morris again.
You two scared him away. It was either that or my tea wasn't very good, but I did make about 3 pots. It's been a long, long day.
He scared himself away. What really could come from a monkey's mitten?
But we have it now. What are we gonna do with?
Yes.
Gold, gold, gold,
Mr.
gold.
White, what are you gonna wish for? To be taller? That's what I would wish for.
So sad.
To be taller, Mrs. 8 hit points, or for your husband to be larger?
Well,
Both would suffice.
Don't answer.
I know that I just apprenticed to the quarry master, but it'd be so nice to just be able to go to school or something, or maybe even be a wish hunter.
Well,
someday.
let's try it.
Let's
try it.
really, Dad?
Father, wouldn't you... Father. Nickname. Father, wouldn't it... something simple. It would, even if it came true,
I wish for
wouldn't hurt
200
anything.
gold.
Okay, just like that.
200? 200 whole gold?
Can you imagine?
I was gonna wish for 2.
Imagine.
Yes,
We could get a pet.
it'll
a
come out of the
goldfish.
cellar and spook you.
That's
That'll be the downside of...
that's more than tenfold what I have. Let me check my boot.
Mr. White, please roll a perception check in this moment.
I think Mrs. White is like just kind of, oh no.
Dice jail.
Natural one.
Dice jail. Dice jail. Dice jail.
With the natural one, you can tell that it stems from your hand, as the hand that holds the monkey's paw spasms in the same way that the monkey's paw itself spasms. It's as if it can, the way that the monkey's paw that you are holding suddenly contorts and snaps its own finger down unnaturally. You feel it twist in your hand. You feel your own finger snap as that pain is brutal and immediate. And suddenly your hand is fine. But the monkey's paw that you hold is, as you imagine it, twisted and curled. It happened before you could even see it. But
Inspect my hand, Mother. It hurts. It hurt, and now it doesn't hurt. Something strange just happened, I swear.
Can I roll with animal handling?
Where's
yeah,
the
I'll give you that. You also have a healer's kit, so I would.
Yeah, but that only...
It's way less interesting.
I only stabilize someone who's unconscious. So.
Okay, cool. Herbert is walking around.
So there are tool rules though. You can use your healer's kit to roll with proficiency. Your proficiency bonus is +2. So you'll be rolling better. Well, the same as your animal handling.
Herbert is
+2
walking around
+2?
like, where's the gold though? And he's like looking under like pillows and like he's pulling furniture out. He's like, he said that it would just be here, and he's just like walking around the house.
I think Mrs. White is like, oh, honey, come here. Let me inspect your hand. Like, you know.
I knew he was lying.
16.
There's nothing medically wrong with his hand at all.
Yeah, I think Mrs. White just says, oh, darling, like your tremors have been getting worse. It must have just been a trick of the disease.
I swear, it was the strangest sensation. It just felt like a tremor, I guess.
Father, will you
gaslight me, woman?
Father, will you check your pockets? I swear, he said it would just be here. And you hear another
You think
thing
I
fall
wouldn't
over.
feel 200 gold in my pockets?
I've never
They'd be on the floor.
I guess even this, I guess it would be heavy, but, and he's like, oh, he goes and runs and dives into the trash can and thinks it's in there.
Searching and searching. Herbert, give me a couple of investigation checks as Herbert continues to search throughout the night.
That is, it's investigation size to intelligence.
Yes.
That's 18 and 12.
You turn the place inside out. All you find is you do find a couple of, probably a couple of copper pieces that were from an old wage that you somehow like, oh, I forgot I put this one in this book. I forgot I put this coin in this corner. You find no gold though.
This is a rock.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. As you are searching throughout the house, one thing that you pause to do is take a look out the window. Do you spot like a blinking light in the forest?
Do I feel like it's worth going outside at all? Is it still the kind of storm that I wouldn't?
I don't know. I think that's up to Herbert. I think you could give me an insight check.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah, I'm going to roll for that. That's an 8.
I think with an 8, you can see that you have it in your gut that the storm is pretty dangerous. It's nothing to be trifled with. But with an 8, I think there is a slight draw to, or at least a curiosity, I would imagine, to spur from.
Then I think I'm going to like start making these mental plans. Like, if it lightens up at all, I'm gonna get this cloak. I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna saddle up Mary, and I'm gonna walk her out into the woods. And in case I need to get away quickly, I'll just ride her, and we'll get out. And like Mary's our donkey, by the way. So, I think it's all kept to myself though. I don't think I share that with anybody. But it leaves Herbert just kind of like doing that thing of like hands against the window and trying to see into the dark and like staring at this spot that he thought he saw. It's like, I don't even think he even mentions it.
As you move away to make preparations, and you've come back to the window, the light is gone and the rest of the night passes unsettlingly quiet. I think there's a kind of a depressed atmosphere that might fall upon all of you as the wish kind of was unresolved. Herbert, this thing that you saw outside the window, this glowing light, quickly disappears after moments of that preparation.
Rub my eyes.
And there, we'll do the fun dramatic irony moment as your characters all spend that restless night as they would and fall asleep. What happened to that wish? We'll get there. What happened with that light? We cinematically pan away unknowingly to our characters. We pan to where that light is in the forest, and we see Sir Morris creeping upon this little light.
Were we set up?
It blinks. It blinks. It blinks. You can see in Sir Morris's eye that he is tracking this thing with exactitude. The pattern of its movement, the pattern of its light, its luminosity. He seems to ascertain its intention just by these characteristics alone. With a word which reverberates through the storm, and as it does so, you can see for a moment as it reverberates through the storm, the raindrops drip up for a moment as the magic disperses everything and hits the will, the wish that he hopes to prevent from making another family make a terrible and likely worse wish. Forgetting the fact that he's already left a monkey's paw, somehow it's left his thoughts entirely. A wish hunter has been tricked, but he does do his duty as he planned, finding the will of the wish that was hunting in this area and taking it down with this arcane word. I will roll actually a save here for the will of the wish. With a 16 on the die and a +2 here, the will of the wish will actually save against this spell that is meant to hold this fey undead creature in place. And as he fails, you see Sir Morris swear for a moment and then move towards this thing in attempts to capture it. But before he can do so, this thing suddenly vanishes, turning invisible, and escapes Sir Morris. You can see he holds some sort of flask made of simple iron and was unable to capture this thing, and he swears to himself and trudges off into the woods. And that is how our night passes, with the will-o-wisp that is hunted in this area escaping Sir Morris. We know the reason as the table, but let's get back to our characters, who are none the wiser as they wake up the next day, the storm having passed and the day passing rather normally. I'll ask you guys, what is a normal day for the White family?
I think Herbert normally leaves very early for the quarry, and so instead of going straight to the quarry this time, I think I go to that spot. I think I go to where I thought the light was first, but then depending on what I find, I'm planning to head to the quarry after.
Cool.
Well, first you eat breakfast that your mother makes for you, because she gets up earlier than you to make breakfast and have it ready.
Mother, you don't have to always get up so early and make breakfast for me. I told you I can do it myself.
Herbert, let me feed you. As a mother, I know you're 19 now, but your job is so physical, and I want to keep you nice and strong. I mean, you are providing for our family. Let me at least give you breakfast.
Oats and water is a full meal, Mom. It's fine.
Please take the raisins. Take them.
Fine.
Like true George. I'm fine.
I'll eat the raisins.
Yes.
I had 2 almonds.
And then I think just Miss White kind of just does some house chores, maybe some gardening, just bumbling around.
Making use of that 8 HP.
Those
Nice.
buffs are-
Unless my sleep was
Oh no, you did get a long rest. Yeah, you're back to full.
sick. Back to 8,
full.
baby.
Back to full.
Back to tough.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Mr. White stares longingly and depressingly out the window,
As he does.
In his empty
every
gold
day.
bag.
ponders some things. Yes, grumbles and mumbles about things. Doesn't show enough appreciation for Mrs. White.
As his sex requires.
As his sex requires. And I think spends the full day caught up in thought about, how would life be different if I had gotten my wish for 200 gold today? How would I have spent this day if I had come into 200 gold?
Yeah.
If I had just won the lottery?
Oh, the worries that would go
What would
away.
I do today?
How better would life be? How much better would life be? Yes. Well, I think we'll roll for it here to see who we start with in the latter part of the day as the day goes on.
Act 3. 16.
9, 3.
Interesting. Diverging slightly from the story here. I love this. Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
as you leave for work and go to that spot, you find nothing but forest. I'll offer you an investigation roll to potentially know more.
I'm honestly looking for 2 things: what the light was, and typically light off in the forest means people. So I was, that's a nat 1. I don't see shit.
My eyes are closed.
I'm walking with my hands out. I'm scared to see the light again, so I've closed my eyes since I hit the edge of the forest. I've been through it enough that I know the path, but I keep bumping in the trees still, and
Oh my god! I didn't know it was gonna go down this way. Oh my gosh!
what did I do? What did I do?
Well, you find nothing, and in that search with a nat 1, I am not going to allow Herbert to feel, hear, or sense the magic that gathers in this area suddenly. Oh, jeez. I got to roll something.
This is
here.
going from silly to scary real
Yeah.
quick.
Herbert, what's your AC?
Oh, gosh. My AC is 11.
All right. That is a 5 on the die, plus 4 to hit is a 9. So this will not hit.
Because you ate those raisins.
Something will not hit. I think actually to Herbert with that nat 1, there is no storm, but lightning just struck right next to you. You can feel the scorched air. The hair on your arm is singed to a crisp, but I will offer you a perception check to see where it might have come from.
Yeah, I think there's a shock of and just frozen. I think in the whole fight flight or freeze. They're definitely frozen. It's just a 9.
It's not enough to identify the true source. It feels like lightning just struck from a blue sky.
But because I'm not hurt, I think I honestly would investigate further. I would go exactly where the lightning bolt struck and bend down.
Give me an investigation check.
We raised a fool. Bumbling idiot.
Something whizzed by me.
Also, as our only son
Shout
left,
out to the 2 crew. I gotta.
We've already lost a few dummies.
Herbert, taking more time to investigate, is once again unable, and as he even hesitates for but a moment, with a 19, the will-o'-the-wish that lay within these forests will do 2d8 lightning.
Oh.
2d8 lightning damage coming at you from this will-o'-the-wish, a variant of a will-o'-wisp. And that is 7 plus 6 damage is 13.
What is the thing that what's the permadeath? How much damage do you need to do?
Double your total HP. So
I have 4 HP.
So you go to 0 with 4 is 9. And so, yeah, 9 is more than 8. You die without any, you die
Before I hit
immediately.
the ground.
Before you hit the ground, you are struck. And though your body doesn't feel it, your soul does, as this thing begins to... A will-o'-wisp in D&D typically uses consume life on an NPC or on a creature that is at 0 hit points and still alive. A will-o'-the-wish has to kill a creature, and in the moment of its crossing, takes its heart's deepest desire to hold as its power, and thus becomes a living wish. What deep desire does Herbert hold?
I think that there is in the last escaping death rattle of a breath, you hear, I wish for more. And he falls back.
Rising as a spirit of hunger, trapped within a golden orb of light. Herbert, to you, your perception of existence continues relatively immediately. But now you are only that desire. You feel the scrapes of Herbert inside, but more than anything, you feel the hunger for more. And you are trapped within this tiny golden prison. The power that you'll need to grow into what you should be from this tiny golden orb that can haunt and stalk its prey invisibly. You will become something more, for that is what you were made for.
I squeeze my fists and I pound on the ground in want and rage and passion and unkempt inhibitions that have been suppressed that overtook a young man, and just starts clawing at the edges of the environment I'm in, whether it's light or I'm in my body. I just almost feel my body decay against the efforts that I'm using to pound against the reality that I'm in. And I think I start the movement that I crave is the only place that I know. And I think if at all in any control of my reality here, I think I start to claw home and move home.
Your prison expands with each strike. It seems that you will need both energy and a continued rage to feed this hunger, and that is what you will do. With that, let's cut back to home. Mr. and Mrs. White, the day passes relatively normally. However, at some point, something does occur that is odd. I'll give you guys both a perception check, and also let me know if you're doing up to anything specific.
16?
11.
11 is not quite enough. With the 16, you, Mr. White, are able to spot outside of a window in the front near the gate an odd gentleman. The word gentleman springs to your mind. That surprises you because gentlemen don't typically pass through this area. However, this one has a somewhat of a familiar appearance. I would offer you a history check to try to recognize this man. And you're welcome to bring in your dear wife, the dear mommy.
Who is hanging the
Mother.
clothes on the line outside.
I give a little rap on the window and point like, there's a dude there.
I will also
Look around the
offer you
house.
a history check as you see
Such
this
a Mr. White
gentleman.
I
thing
like
to do.
look through
Yeah,
the
he's a
sheets
coward.
that are on the
Yeah.
line.
He is
He's
a
like,
coward.
there's
He's
somebody
like,
over there.
Mommy, check this guy out. I rolled a 4 for history. What's history under
Intelligence.
5?
Mrs. White's at the clothesline. I wish I had an extra set of hands.
5 is unfortunately not enough.
I got a 9.
Also, unfortunately, not enough. The face both strikes you as familiar to both of you, but you are unable to place exactly where from. And as this gentleman comes in, he looks rather awkward as he. Let me roll something here. Spots you and peeping out from the clothesline. He says, "Oh, Mrs. White, Mrs. White."
Oh, hello. I'm sorry. I don't quite remember your name.
Oh, forgive me. I am from Memon Muggins.
Oh my goodness! Yes. Please
the quarry
come in.
company. Yes.
Do come in. Mr.
Yes.
White will be happy to see you. Do you bring news of our
well,
son?
I'm sure you'd actually rather have me do this quickly.
Yes. Please come. Would you
opened
please
the
come in?
door.
I've just baked some biscuits. They're cooling. You must have
Did he get a promotion?
a biscuit.
He comes in. We cinematically cut through a bunch of awkward silence, biscuit time. You're all now seated.
Don't forget the butter. Don't forget the butter. It's way better with butter.
Would you like some
She
tea?
churned it herself.
It's
this
donkey.
morning.
It's donkey butter.
Look at those arms.
He says, "Well, thank you. Yes, the butter is delightful, but I'm sorry. I must say I'm here on a rather somber note, and to accept any more generosity would sully me as in my honor. As I must tell you that
Oh God.
your poor son. I am to understand your only son.
The last one left.
He was found struck.
Spit it out.
It seems that he must have been out in the storm last night, and
Oh God.
he was found burnt to a crisp. by-
Mrs. White drops the teapot, shatters in the kitchen.
in our sympathy, we asked all of the company to chip in, and this is what we could give. I know it is not enough to. It is not equal to a life, but it is what we can offer. And here, and he hands you a small baggie filled with coins, as he says, "It's 200 gold. It's everything we could offer."
I think Mrs. White is like absolutely on the floor, distraught, completely sobbing, and then here's 200 gold and just gives daggers to Mr. White.
I'm
I can
hiding.
feel that.
We, for the sake of story, pass through. I will ask you just to both Mr. and Mrs. White, please explain to me how Mr. and Mrs. White deal with the following days as the company man from Meemaw and Muggins leaves and offers his condolences as best he can and hears your complaints and hears your tirades. But the funeral comes and passes. Your son is buried. He is in the ground for a day. How does that time pass from now until then?
Turmoil.
Yeah, I think Mrs. White is pissed at her husband. And throughout like the days leading up to the burial, and kind of keeps making like snide remarks of like, that was my only son. You filled his head with dreams. Like he wouldn't have gone into that forest if it weren't for you. Really just fully blaming Mr. White and really being angry. All for 200 gold. You couldn't have wished for anything else. Like just kind of.
The argument continues. He's in the ground for 3 more days.
Mrs. White can't say anything that Mr. White hasn't already said about himself or to himself. So I think he's just trying to hold himself together while being like half there.
Sadly playing chess with himself.
Trying to comfort someone who is not about to find comfort in me. This is getting real. Whoa.
Yeah.
But I think Mrs. White, like in her rage and everything, has been doing a lot of like separate away from Mr. White tasks. I'm doing everything in my power to like just not be in the same room as him and just collect myself and grieve my son. And as I'm cleaning up and just kind of like exasperated with this pile of stuff that Mr. White just leaves next to his chair. He can't do anything, can't even organize. And my only son, if Herbert was here, he'd put the stuff away. And I see the monkey paw like under the papers or whatever that's left. And I think she like, and grabs it and like sprints to wherever Mr. White is in that moment.
Amazing. I could not agree more, as the monkey paw has been calling for days, and now finally you find it. 2 more wishes to be cast, but as Sir Morris said, this item was only enchanted for 3 men to cast 3 wishes upon it, and the 3rd person to hold it is Mr. White. He is the one that has to cast the wish. What wish is upon Mrs. White's mind as she approaches Mr. White?
I think she runs in absolutely like weirdly excited, like full juxtaposition to how she's been interacting with Mr. White.
The depressed
Creepy.
era is just broken,
Like
uncomfortably so.
Like, and unbeknownst to her, maybe that like it's pretty manipulative. Like she's all of a sudden like, honey, like you would have to believe I just had this wonderful idea, and you must. And she's like waving the monkey paw in the air, like you must wish that Herbert
Get
returns.
that thing out of here.
You must wish.
Get it away from me.
No. You owe me this. You completely turns. You owe me this. You owe me my son back for 200 gold. You owe me my son. You have to, please. And then she's on the ground, like begging, like, please just wish him back. It's a simple thing.
After a little bit of protest, I think Mr. White feels like there is something he can do to fix the situation, and not believing that it would ever in a million years work, want to give his wife the littlest of comforts and feeling like she has autonomy over the situation or is in control in whatever way she can be. So I think he finally caves and is like, what do you really need? What do you really want to wish for?
I want my son back. I want my son to return. You must wish that he returns to me.
I'm scared.
It's only been a couple days. There's the magic is still in him. I can feel it. He's here. I can feel it. You must wish that he returns. He's my son. Unless you intend to put another wish in this womb. Your tremors have gotten bad enough.
Just accidental sometimes. Whoops. There's the 4th kid. Do you really think it could work? Do you think it worked the first time?
Even if it doesn't work, what's the harm? What's the harm? To wish he returns. There's no bad news there. There's only good. My son.
Okay. If it is what you wish, if it will make you feel better to wish, I will do it for you. But I don't believe that it's going to work. What happens if it doesn't work?
Then I've lost my son, and I will come to terms with that.
What will happen to us if it doesn't work?
I made you a vow when we married, and I will stay here and make you breakfast every day. Clean up your shit. And make you the best damn tea in the land. But I would much rather do it with my son by my side. I don't deserve you. No, you do not. You weak little man.
I love this so much.
I will do it. I will do it. Mr. White picks up the monkey paw, gives it a little caress, really looks at it, and truly in the deepest parts of his heart really hopes that this works, but in the nooks and crannies of his brain does not feel like it will. And he just says, I wish for our son to return. Give him back to us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Starts like kissing his feet, is just like overwhelmed with gratitude. Yeah.
With that, we will cut back to Herbert and his hunger. Herbert, you have been raging against something you cannot break. At first, your strikes against your golden light prison would push you, not only expanding you to a little bit of a larger prison, but also forcibly moving this energy that you were trapped in just a little bit further in physical space. But when you got to the forest edge, you realized that this prison is bound. It is bound to these woods. And so are you.
Ooh, I scream into what feels like a reflection. Like the edge, like the meeting the edges of yourself. Like I just feel like in this kind of mind theater of being stuck inside of an energy or being an energy that is stuck. I feel like there's this just a frustration that I'm almost naturally brews to self-hatred and like internalized energy. And I think I start like ripping at myself at the edge.
Tearing at your very boundaries, you continue to expand this golden light prison, and suddenly that boundary is no more. You know not what changed it, but you are free. And with a new vigor, with every strike, you propel yourself further and further and further. And suddenly you feel yourself growing with power as you are nearing what you know to be your purpose, to consume the nearest life and make you more. And what life is nearest is the home that you find in front of you, a small cottage that you left that day. A small distant part of you remembers that is the cottage that you left that day. And as you near the door, I will offer both of you a perception check, Mr. and Mrs. White.
I imagine almost like a slow moving drone shot shaking back and forth and seeing Mary out tied and just almost like an instantly just consuming and then looking at the door and then to you.
I think just for like in between the wish happening, and I think then after just like, thank you, she, Mrs. White instantly starts busying herself, like cleaning Herbert's room and like making it really nice for like him to come home, just kind of a delusional like, oh, and he's gonna love his little blankie, and like just an almost like regression type of like he's coming back as like a child, like she's just fully in mama bear mode, like making it cozy, comfy for him. So she's like in his room, and I rolled an 11.
30-20.
Damn. Mr. White, the sun blazes upon your doorstep. And you also see the absolute visage of your son. Sorry, I used the word son in two different ways. Sorry.
I thought it was on purpose.
Your son's
clever.
You see both a golden glowing light that serves as an orb that becomes more and more humanoid as it approaches, until suddenly it is taking steps in the shape of your biological son. And you can see in his face a tormented hunger. I will give you an insight roll with advantage here.
I think that desperate rage on my face looks like as I'm like about to just like grab the door to like rip it off. I turn and look at through the window, because it's like the first time I've slowed down and like can even possibly see limbs. And I see just food. I'm ravenous and I see something that I just want to consume.
Natural 20.
With a natural 20, you know that if whatever your wish did, it didn't do what you wanted it to. There is something in this world that with a natural 20, I think you finally get what Sir Morris meant about not even in like the actual moral sense that getting what you wish for can be dangerous, that you might regret it. He meant that in a magical way. Wishing gets fucked up every time in this world. It's bound to go badly every time. There's always a consequence. And you see that the consequence laid out here is your son's eternal pain, wanting for a life, not even life, just for more than he had. You see, from a father's perspective, a son who you were never enough for.
I start pounding on the door.
So I rolled an 11 for my perception. I almost want Mrs. White to come out, like, because she was upstairs in the room and like maybe saw it got bright and was just like, like maybe a cloud just went over the sky, whatever.
It's obvious enough that you didn't get a chance to see its approach, but you see your husband, Mr. White, on looking out through the doorstep windows.
Yeah, like coming down the stairs, just being like, his room is ready, and any time now we should be expecting him.
You see brilliant light through the windows.
Like, and I think she starts to like run towards the door, like he's here. It's him.
It would feel like
godly almost.
A second
like,
coming is upon us. Yeah, absolutely.
And she's like absolutely just sprinting at that door.
At first, it's like kind of like doof, doof. Then there's just like
Mr. White, as you stand frozen and your wife runs to the door with, I would tell you with your insight roll, all the means to open it.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, I think Mr. White knows. Mr. White knows that this is not ideal. This is not the best case scenario. So I think Mrs. White can perceive him as visibly deflating as he just says, my son, in the most defeated, mortified way possible. Like there's not an ounce of joy to be had. I think he knows that he has to open this door. He has to face the consequences of his actions, his wish. He has to let it play out that Mrs. White experiences it too. And so I think all of the stress that has been collecting over his last several decades just kind of bursts, and he just kind of turns into a husk of a person as he goes to open the door.
I want Mrs. White to like push past him.
Yeah.
And like, can I do a post strength check to like see if I can, because I'm like ravenous, like want to just open this door and get there.
He's like putting his hand on the handle, like my son, like he's gonna open the door.
It's like, why are you taking your time? He's here.
I think with the nat 20, I will offer you the final information that Mr. White realizes, especially with that acceptance. I think first the nat 20 said, your son does not accept you and wanted more his entire life. But from your interaction with that just now, it sounds like Mr. White looks past that and is just sad for the fate of his son. And you do see that this isn't your son anymore.
I think the pounding is what made that sink in. Like this, my son wouldn't knock. He wouldn't be angry. And this all feels so dark.
Yes.
Despite the brightness.
I love the decision.
It's just like,
So Mr. White has a decision to make as Mrs. White moves aside. Your hand is on the door. You are there first. You just leave your hand there.
Oh, I think I'm totally shoved out of the way.
Okay.
Like
you can fail. You
have the knowledge, but no will. I have no will to face this. I just was going to.
Cool. All right. So no roll here. Mrs. White, you push your husband aside and What do you do?
Rip that door open.
Ripping
Arms wide.
ripping the door open. Herbert, you are there. The thing you need is in front of you. The thing you need for more. The thing you need to satisfy this burning desire in you is in front of you. And the better yet, there is so much. Could you call this flavor? These layers that you feel about this energy in front of you. Energy trapped in a form that might look familiar, but doesn't all food on some level look familiar?
You almost hear, or you feel more than hear, delicious. Like just this huge
Yes, I made biscuits.
ominous energy.
And butter.
And I would like to propose a roll here because I don't know if this was possible or if this would be, but I feel if there's any sliver of Herbert left at all, I'd like to look directly at wherever the monkey paw is and take all this energy that I was about to consume my family, and if I can on a roll, try to destroy the monkey's paw and myself if I have to. But
damn,
okay, just like all that and just into a point.
Okay, I will offer Herbert a charisma saving throw here. Do you have any benefits here?
No.
Okay,
which is I think is fair. Flat roll here.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, let me just set a DC here.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be a 20.
Yeah.
I think the fate that Herbert has been locked into, yes, by fate, but also largely by who Herbert is.
Mm-hmm.
So much of himself is true to this fate, like wanting more. I think to redirect that, I think anything else, anything less than a 20 becomes an attack roll.
Okay. Oh, it's an 18.
No.
With an 18.
The biscuits.
Plus 4 to hit. I will ask you to roll 2d8 damage.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, I'm tough.
It's a 6.
With 6 damage. And who's, it sounds like you were standing
directly, arms open, goalie position, ready to receive.
Mr. Whitehead fallen to the side and is probably on his hands and knees right now.
Howard.
You knocked me, woman. You bonked me right out of the way.
Should have wished to be taller.
You see, as Mrs. White goes to hug her glowing, now moltenly glowing son, it burns, and you experience 6 damage. And I think right here we're gonna roll for initiative.
Cool.
I think she doesn't let go.
Oh, so fucking terrible. Okay, damn it.
You're killing this, man.
I got 19 as an initiative too. So.
You're killing this roll.
Damn.
I got an 8 plus a 1.
So that's a 9. If
Yeah.
anyone else
All
needs
right.
help with the mental math,
That's that
I
9.
don't.
Maya's on it. Maya's on it.
I've been practicing.
19, you said?
Yeah.
And what for you, Mr. White?
Natural 1.
Natural. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't cocked enough to be cocked.
Consider himself consumed.
We start with Mrs. White.
Yeah. She's holding on for dear life. She is. I mean, she's got 2 hit points left, so the burn definitely burns. But I think she just knows, and it's my son. It's my son. I just can't let go, and so she just holds on.
As you continue to hold on, I think the incorporeal movement part of Herbert's new form takes hold, and he truly kind of fuses into part of your body, and it continues to burn. And you can tell that I will tell you mechanically that if you don't let go, you will take 1d10 force damage, and so will Herbert.
I think Mrs. White has been through childbirth, so she's. The burn goes inward, and
Did you
she's.
say anything?
I think she's delusional. I think she says "Welcome home," just so distraught but excited, but just does not grasp what the hell is happening.
Oof.
That is going to be 9 damage as you end your turn.
She's dead.
Can I make a roll on her holding on and like to call to Herbert if she's holding on and then says, welcome home, could I possibly have another roll to try to redirect again to the monkey's paw?
I will allow you a charisma. It's got to be a 20.
Yeah, it's got to be that 20. All right. It's a 13.
Do anything for my son. Anything.
Dropped and
I think because she was setting up the room, she was holding his, like, it's like, I made it for him when he was young. It was sewn but stuffed with hay, and it's still kind of like, it's just falling apart, this thing has been, and I'm holding it in my hand when I open the door, and I think when she gets hit, she just falls, and it like falls out of her hand and just rolls.
Herbert, you see, I don't know how to describe. I'm trying to decide who to describe it to. The small piece of Herbert that you're really wanting to come out that keeps failing to. I think more so it is the consuming hunger that sees this as you feel well fed as you regain 3d6 hit points.
I'm tough. I'm a big meal.
Regardless of anything, you're back to full. Completely from whatever sort of trauma and psychic damage you've taken throughout your travels here, but you feel rejuvenated by the falling of this figure in front of you, and the item that drops to her side is of no interest to you. I will offer you one more charisma save as you see this very important item to Herbert.
I think if there's any piece of Herbert, it would be you just hear a quick flash like, no, and then just one more reach towards this thing that's falling up, but just being already pulled, there's already that kind of energy off to the side. So close. It's a 19. I've got an 18 and a 19 on a DC 20.
Do you have any modifier on a charisma?
On charisma, it's a 0.
Oh.
Yeah, my only plus ones are in strength, dex, and int.
All right. That is now you, Herbert. Herbert is drawn to, again, lash out with another strike of electric energy. I would ask you to roll to hit. If you want to try to roll low, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I think that at this...
You can try.
But I think at this point, the care that Herbert had for his mom, and that being like one of the driving forces to go to the quarry and to do this, but his dad up until this point has accidentally fallen into I don't want to be this role. So I think he turns fully willing. Like it's a 15.
I was gonna say if that was the nat 20, like the hit.
That'll be 2d8 lightning damage as you turn towards the next source of energy that would supply your hunger and maybe satiate your want for more.
The donkey? Question mark.
That's a 7.
With 7 damage, Mr. White, I will ask you, what do your final moments look like?
I am on my hands and knees, crawling with my eyes squeezed so tightly shut that I'm probably doing damage to some nerve somewhere. And I'm traveling in the direction of where I know the monkey paw to be.
With that, I think we have to end our story as we have gotten a TPK as one of our characters has changed alignment to evil, chaotic evil. One of our characters is truly dead, and Mr. White is rolling death saves. Mm-hmm. I would allow you, Herbert, one last charisma save here. I will actually make this lower, DC 18, to not fully consume what is left of your father, Mr. White, and I would allow him death saves if you can save this here.
I'd like it to be almost like the last thing Herbert can do in his psyche as he feels the person he is fade is like try to distract who he is and think, Sir Morris, Sir, what about the wish hunter? And you just hear like that extra thing. So I'm trying to get
a bigger meal awaits.
A bigger meal. Yeah. That's not going to do it. The 4.
So in terms of like, not to metagame, but like in terms of action economy, so that would happen, but then would Mr. White still get the death save?
Let's hear you. So you would want to finish this, then that means that you go down. Mr. White, you get 1 death save here. So that on your turn here.
Oh, I guess right, because you'd have to get
just go back and
enough
forth.
saves to.
And then with an attack, you would take two automatic fails. So
I'd have to roll for attack after you.
you'd have to, if you roll a nat 20 here, Mr. White could potentially pop back up.
Ready? 16.
That saves one save, but 2 failures as you are struck from the consuming lightning, which is an auto hit. Fuck you.
I'm dead.
You got 1 more save here if you want. This could be a 20, and you pop back up with 1 HP. Home rule.
No.
5.
Your last failure, as there is a piece of you that passes to planes unknown, that sees what happens. But the piece of you that is conscious and human does not deserve to know or see the foul cruelty that occurs with the gorging of this meal by Herbert, the living wish of hunger.
Checkmate.
Oh my God. And with that, we are going to call that a one-shot. Thank you guys so much. That was the most fun. I had no idea that was going to be that awesome.
Oh no, Herbert broke bad.
We didn't give you a warning.
Nobody hates it.
I am the one who knocks.
Guys, this was so freaking cool.
This was
amazing.
cool.
And really, honestly, I think we really like stepped up. I feel like we all showed up today. This is, I think, a good example of what the kind of quality that we're hoping to bring to all of our people who are willing to pay a little bit of extra for more of us. We couldn't be more thankful for you to listening to this dice-sized, produced, one-shot adventure inspired by A Monkey's Paw by W.W. Jacobs. Thank you. This is me, your DM, Robert Whitehead. I had George, Maya, and Sav with me today, and they did a great job playing the White family.
We really shook up our family dynamics
Oh,
today.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Oh, mommy, daddy. Let's.
It was
Sergeant
uncomfortable for me as
I
the
gotta go to
son.
therapy. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for riding the die, and ride or die or ride. Keep on listening to Dice-Sized. Love you. Chicka, chicka. Dice-Sized. For a slightly more faithful retelling of this classic short story, and also to understand just how these 3 lunatics really made this story their own while also capturing the original, please check out our Patreon, where you can hear me, your favorite DM and friend, deliver a dramatic reading of The Monkey's Paw by W.W. Jacobs.